Hey everybody, it's Irene with BrainStormAcres. And this morning I am going to plant peas and snow peas. Now it's really windy today. We have 2 storms coming in this week. We could get rain, we could get snow, we could get both, we might get nothing. But these need to go in now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get them planted. Even if it snows on them, it won't hurt them. When we lived in Massachusetts, we used to plant them during the January or February thaw. It would then freeze, it would snow on them, it would rain on them, it would do all kinds of things on them. And when spring finally did arrive, they would simply pop up and be there. So these are tough little critters, so let's get going. Okay, the first thing I am going to do is add a little bit of fertilizer. I have the Hoss Tools organic fertilizer. This is a 543. It's pelletized hen manure, and we've been very pleased with this stuff. It is 1.5 cups per 10 square feet. This is about 4 by 6, so 24 square feet. So yeah, I'm going to use a bunch of this. If you guys followed us last year, you know that this bed was planted with tomatoes and basil last year. So following them up with legumes, no problem at all. It says it's 43 out here, but it feels a lot colder. I see a couple of weeds in here that gotta go. So we'll find out what they are and we'll make them go away. I think these are probably chives. Well, we don't really want chives in here. And these are Mexican poppies, and we definitely don't want Mexican poppies in here. I'm going to put the snow peas at this end of the bed, an inch deep. That's what I thought. It's been a while. Just a few months. Sort of amazing. I broke up this bed the other day, but it's already sort of kind of crunchy. At least in spots we still have some heavier clay. Don't have a huge number of these snow pea seeds. I have more on order, but we just decided that since we have storms coming in and stuff like that, we're just going to get this in. That will probably use up all these seeds. And these are supposed to be 1 inch to 1.5 inches apart. Yeah, I'm not gonna, I might just have one row here. We'll see. I may actually bring out a different package of seeds. I'm going to add some compost. This happens to be a bag that was left over from last year. It's okay, it doesn't spoil. I do not want to put sticks in there. Now, for people who live in areas with really good, high loam, high fertility soil, this may seem silly. We do not. And although this soil that we have here was purchased as topsoil, in general, topsoil in our area is pretty crappy. So we constantly add more mulch, more everything. I'm always intrigued when I find pieces of plastic and stuff. You're like, okay, I don't remember buying plastic, I just remember buying compost. And more weeds show up. Never ceases to amaze me. This bed has been used for a lot of deeply rooted plants like carrots and parsnips and stuff in the past, so we're used to all kinds of strange things showing up in here. And I thought I worked it over pretty well, but there's always something that seems to show up. We've had some problems in the last couple of years with some Mexican poppies in here. And I love Mexican poppies, but I don't want them taking over my vegetable beds. So I try and limit those to some herbal beds where they're okay. I figure if I keep chopping up these clay balls every time I do this, eventually, they're a lot better than they were a few years ago. So eventually we'll break most of them down into smaller clay balls, and then they won't be a problem. Hi, Jack. Anything interesting going around? I forgot to check the traps this morning. Nobody over here, so that's a good thing. I'm sure you'd tell me if there was somebody in one of those traps. Cat was excited the other day because I caught a mouse. So I had to empty the trap in an unexpected moment. I usually try and take care of it first thing in the morning, but sometimes mornings can be crazy, so I don't always get to it. But I do get to it sometime during the day because they have to be emptied and reset for the nighttime. And the answer is I should do it the other direction, and that'll let me reach in from the sides, even though I don't like it that way. Sometimes I'll spend time stirring things up just because it brings up more things that I want to take out. I love this bed, but it's really best for things like carrots, to be honest. But we decided we would use it this spring because it was convenient in terms of being ready and its location and its size and all that other stuff. So always a mixed bag. The nice thing about these peas being such a light green color is that they show up beautifully against the darker soil. So if you drop any, if you get, you can tell exactly where you planted them, that sort of thing. Compost. And the reason I tap the soil is to make sure that the seeds are in good contact with the dirt, because they rely on that dirt for moisture. And if there's a lot of air gaps in there, it will decrease your germination rate. They'll have to wait until the soil settles around them. And although we do try and water in well, I figure the earlier we settle, the better. So, I see a sunflower seed. We'll leave you out. That was probably dropped by one of our little birdies. Actually, probably one of the jays. They're always the ones that are always stealing the sunflower seeds here. And we have a feeder just over here, so actually 2 feeders. I usually only have 1 feeder in the winter, but it's been a rough winter, so we decided we would be helpful and put out 2 feeders. And it was good because there were a lot of times when I could barely keep them full. I had such a gigantic collection of birds, and it was awesome. It was awesome. This is excellent practice for baking bread when you need to throw that flour across the surface of your board that you're kneading on. Sort of like that, and all of a sudden you got flour everywhere. It's awesome. But on a thin layer. Okay, that's pretty good. Of course, the wind is helping a little today too. Well, I hope that inspires you. It's really not hard, but we have our peas in now. We have snow peas and we have regular peas. These are premium by Johnny's. We've tried a whole variety of peas over the years, and I think premium has probably turned out to be about the best we've had. I know there's other ones out there that are great, and it depends on where you live and what your growing conditions are. One of our problems here is that it hit 65 yesterday as our high, which is very unusual for this time of year. It's 46 right now, and it's almost lunchtime. So we've got 2 storms coming in this week. My bet is it will be down in the 20s at some point this week. And we need varieties that at this time of year will tolerate that kind of massive swings in temperature. The snow peas will hold better in the spring for us. In other words, as soon as it gets really hot, these guys over here are going to just say, enough of this stuff, we're done. But the snow peas will hang on a bit longer. We have actually had snow peas that managed to produce pretty much all summer. Now you're only getting a handful every week, but if you have the room, we enjoy that handful thrown into stir fry. It's something special. And the snow peas at the grocery store here are usually large, tough, and very expensive. So if we want snow peas, we either have to have them in the freezer or in the garden. You will notice a lot of times when I plant here, I will actually create a furrow, put the seeds down in it, and sometimes leave even the topsoil in a bit of a furrow to direct any moisture that does fall into that furrow. Now, having lived in wetter climates, I know that in wetter climates you would never do that because you would drown your plants. But around here, I'm trying to think if in 16 years that's ever been an issue. No, it hasn't. These beds drain really well. So even when we get huge amounts of water, there's a drainage system under this bed that will take the water out and put it out this west side, and like a French drain would. So even when there is exceptional quantities of rain, because I have seen 4 inches in an hour here before, believe me, you don't go anywhere when there's been 4 inches of water in an hour because that main road is washed out. So I hope this inspires you. Figure out what works where you are. Do you need to plant your vegetables down so that you can basically flood irrigate, or do you need to plant them up so that you can keep their toes dry if it gets too wet? So keep watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because we are going to have a ton going on this year. And we might even wind up going on the road for a bit at the end of the summer. We'll see. We'll know when we know, and not before then. So take care, and until next time, bye.